Hello, folks. Here we are, another Saturday Night Live, May 16th, 2020. Hello, everybody. Steve, Lisa, Sarah, John, Ben, and Margaret. Nice to see you all. I'm kind of beat. I've been working in the basement a little and then outside in the garden. When you're not used to it.
You get soft over the winter, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the first time out, you know. We're building some worm tubes for putting compost
Nice.
in the ground. You know, you can get some pipes and drill some holes down in the ground. That's the easiest way to compost. That's, for me anyway. Just throw them in, and when it's all done, just put it all out. So it's still out there. The sun's still shining. It was a beautiful day here, about 20 degrees Celsius. As you can see, got some sun a little bit. Nice.
It feels so good.
Yeah, nothing like being in the sun with all this crazy crap going on out there.
I had such a good sweat today outside. It was amazing. You always feel so refreshed afterwards.
Yeah, when you play with dirt, it's awesome. I also had to have a little crack in in the foundation. It's poured concrete. I've had it there since the house was built. I missed it when before the warranty was up, but it only leaks when it rains really, really hard. But I have to fix it now because we're doing some stuff in the basement, so I have to fix it. I have to dig, and it's right underneath the freaking air conditioner. So wow. Once you get down about that much, it's all clay here. It's pretty hard.
Well, the water won't permeate the clay.
It won't? I know, but the crack, that's why I said it only does it when it rains hard, because the crack is near the top of the surface. So when it rains hard, it gets in, like, especially if the wind's blowing towards the crack. But otherwise, I never had much problem with it. But anyway, we got to do what we got to do.
Yep.
Have some fun. So how's everybody doing?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Tough week.
Tough week?
A brother-in-law passed during the week.
Oh, really? Is that the one who, no.
76. And then his funeral was today. What a freaking fiasco, man. They allowed 10 people into the funeral home. You have to wear a mask.
Oh my gosh.
If it wasn't my sister, I wouldn't have went. And plus she asked me to be a pallbearer. And they did nothing at the funeral home. The service was graveside. Same thing. They required that you wear masked.
Outside?
Outside. About an hour. I'll tell you what, I cheated at the funeral home itself. I just went outside and took it off. But at graveside, about 15 minutes in, I was having trouble breathing. I'm normally a nose breather. I never breathe. I never use my mouth for exhale or inhale unless I'm really pushing at the gym. And about 15 minutes in, I can see I'm starting to exhale out the mouth. Stupid.
Yeah. Well,
then on top of it, we had to put my little cat. We had to put him down today.
That's so sad.
Condolences for all the souls that defense.
Yeah.
And let's elevate them to.
Absolutely, I did.
So they soar throughout all the universes for perpetuity and peace, balance, correct conduct. We'll all get there soon enough.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm okay with all that. I have my belief system supports everything so far. It hasn't failed me in the 60 years I've been here when it comes to death. So at least not yet. And I've lost quite a few in the family. I believe we're better off on the other side. So
Most certainly are. But I think we came here to experience this, and it's my understanding is, it's supposed to be one of the most beautiful planets, but who knows? In the matter realms.
Beautiful, but evil.
Yeah, well, that's another story. we have to change that, right?
Yeah.
Because
I think the cat bothered me. I think the cat probably affected me a little more than my brother-in-law. Believe it or not.
How long you had the cat?
20. Remember I showed you a couple weeks ago?
Oh, right.
20-year-old cat. Just shy of 20. Crazy. They're only supposed to live about 10 years, so he doubled his expiration date.
That's a long life.
But that is just that is the essence of peace and balance and correct conduct. The cat was perfect. The cat was it was a beautiful soul. I never had an animal like this cat. It was so different than anything that has ever been in my house.
So why
Just so calm and so docile. It's a beautiful, beautiful soul.
So why did you put it down?
He's 20 years old.
No, but I mean,
last couple of weeks he was really failing. He was in a lot of pain. He could barely walk anymore. So
you have to get a new one, get a new kitty cat for yourself.
My wife is the one that's going to decide that. She's the one that's taking it the hardest.
Yeah, they become part of the family.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I don't want to get animals anymore, because it's tough when, if you got to get rid of it or if they die, it's tough.
We've been married, I don't know. I should know, but 16 years, I think. When we got married, combined between the 4 kids, we had 5 animals. So, first time we're animal free in the house. And kid free, so it's a bonus. It'll be different. We'll see how it plays out, whether we get another one or not.
Yeah, animals are awesome. We got squirrels in the area here, and you feed them, they come up to you. If they get to know you and they trust you, you can feed them. That's my pets.
I dry fasted from Thursday evening to about 44 hours. That really helped to just keep the emotions calm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it was a pretty good, other than taking a shower after work, that was it. Nothing this time. Last couple of times I was doing the semi-dry. This time I wanted to go a little harder with it. Really helped.
So yeah, I made that post yesterday or the day before about if we nourish the emotions, we can not worry about hunger anymore. Basically, that's the key. Now somebody just posted a question there. I didn't get around to it, but how do we nourish the emotions? If anybody, how do we nourish the emotions? So if anybody want to make some suggestions, what works for you to nourish the emotions?
Yoga. The yoga's been doing it since I started. Totally different. What's the word I'm looking for? Mindset, for the lack of a better term. I've been in it 4 weeks now. It's just so different on an emotional level. You're purging a lot during the practice, emotionally. I can feel it. She gets me into these freaking poses, and it's squeezing just like the dry does. I can feel it. It's incredible.
Especially when you're fasting.
Yeah. I made the mistake of eating before trying it during the week, and I couldn't do it. So I learned, don't eat. Even the woman that's teaching said, "No, don't eat." I didn't know any better.
How about when you're gardening?
Can't beat it fasting. Cannot beat it, especially when you got your hands in the ground and the sun is out. Last year was incredible. And I fasted for most of the summer too, so. That was a whole different plane. I don't even know how to explain that. That was just a whole different level of consciousness out there.
What was that, Steve? What was?
Out in the garden, gardening.
Oh.
Working in the garden in 90 degrees, fasting.
Nice.
While fasting, it was just a whole different level of master fasting. Hard to explain.
Just experience it. Just experience it.
Yeah, I mean, to try and explain it, it's difficult to put into words.
I understand. Lisa.
It's kind of like meditation because you can, for me, because I can, once I start, within 5-10 minutes, everything starts shutting off. And you can really come into the moment and stay there. Last year, I was able to stay there for 5-6 hours at a time. Which
meditating?
Pretty much in a meditative state. No, I was working in the garden, but
okay, yeah, meditation in motion in that state,
yes,
yeah.
In motion, unbelievable. I never experienced anything like that.
Yeah, like the time just goes like that.
Right? Yeah, it took anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to get into it.
No, but I mean,
it's just slowly, things are shutting down on the periphery, and then boom, 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 and then all of a sudden everything's shut off. Yeah,
well, and then you come out of it, and all those hours go by, and it's where do they go?
There's like nothing.
Right.
Like 5 minutes went by.
Yeah, these are awesome ways. Yoga, a hobby you love, meditation. Yeah. Lisa, what gets you into a state where you can forget everything? Because once you're in that state, that's how you're nourishing your emotions, and you don't think about food.
The sunshine. That's sunshine and a decent amount of quiet around me at the same time. But mostly the sunshine. Just feel it, and all I need is, I could just stand in it. But yeah, that sort of like anywhere from, 10 minutes to 30 minutes of it at least. It's just great. My skin's pretty dark now too. I just spend so much time out in it. And I remember, I was recalling this today, that how precious it was to have just some sunshine living back in Georgia, because our apartment was dark. We didn't have our own land, and I would just grab my little beach chair as soon as I could grab a moment and just sit out there and try to bake as long as I could. Now it's so plentiful, and I can just walk outside and do it anytime. Just get that. And the kids do it too, which is kind of fascinating also. They tend to go outside right after they eat too. It's like they just go sort of veg out there amongst the plant. What's that?
They're not corrupted yet.
No, well, yeah, it depends on what level you look at it. Well, you see, it's all the same thing. It's all the choices we make, and it's all the stimulation we choose to take in or not to take in, or the patience and calmness we can establish. And it's hard because if we're not doing it with the food, then everything else seems to snowball right after that. And I can see so much more clearly what they go through as compared to what I go through. It's similar. But it's really hard to slow yourself down and not feel so caged into the moment and nailed to the habit and action that you normally take. It's hard to not go with it, because it's right there in front of you usually. You could just do the usual thing. For me, it's I could just a lot of just stuff my emotions or physical triggers away with food because I'm preparing it and it's readily available. And it's weird. You know all the things in your mind, but at the same time, in reality, you're feeling the weight of the moment, the weight of the others around you. And last week, somebody on here, I don't recall exactly who, said that they were trying this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 thing before they engaged in eating something that they didn't need. But it can go for anything, right? You could stop yourself and think. It's really, it did help me for a few days, and I need to just try to re-engage with that again. It's kind of like giving yourself space too before you react to somebody like a spouse or a child. What's interesting is that there's a technique I use for that when I remember, but to always say something positive first, no matter what you're going to say. And the positive not only disarms the situation, it also gives you that short moment, whatever, 5 words, but in that moment, 5 seconds maybe, you thought more logically about the situation and or could address it in a different way. So it's tough though. I'm going through a lot of, it feels like more emotional issues than I ever had before. Not exactly sure why, but it just is.
Because things are quieting down for you, that's why. All that's coming back. It's not masked anymore.
Yeah. I'll tell you, something interesting happened just before I got on. I was clicking here and there on Facebook, trying to go look for one thing and then saw another. And I landed up seeing a profile of somebody who I used to know many years ago, when we had babies together. We were in a little baby group. And her page said that she had just gotten treatment for these 2 really long medical words for this thing. And I thought, what? So then I scrolled through her profile, and I guess about a month and a half ago, she landed up in the hospital. She didn't say exactly why, but she said that something about her lungs and autoimmune, blah, blah, blah. They were testing her, testing. And so now she's got a name for this thing, and I don't know what the treatment was, but it went through her veins. And the thing is, it really, this is the kind of thing that triggers me into a fear response, and just makes, I don't know, it makes, for some reason, I can't exactly understand this right now because I'm just talking about it, but it makes me feel more fragile myself somehow. There was a gross picture when I looked that thing up, that disease, disease up of deterioration. Yeah. I'd like to not go into these fear responses constantly. when I was a kid, my dad had gone out and bought a new SUV, and he came home, and we were on a slanted driveway. It was slanted towards the house, towards the garage. And my brother ran out to go play. He jumped in it and set it rolling forward. And my dad tried to stop it and couldn't. Luckily, it hit kind of the side of the garage door. And I was screaming frantically watching this. And then my dad started screaming, "I'm going to die, I'm going to die." He was so shocked. Like, that's where I get my nerves from. I get my nerves from his side. And then he ran off. He was gone for about an hour or so. But I shrieked, you know? And some of my earliest memories as a kid was that I wanted to be protected by a guard dog. Like, from what? In my head, I was figuring out this bubble I could live in with a guard dog outside of it.
Did you go through any challenging experiences when you were young?
Nothing that like you'd think. I can't say no, like there's nothing traumatic that, yeah, just constant fear though from the beginning. You'd think there was some major trauma. I mean, later there was a little molesting here and there, but
That's fear is one of the underlying factors in addiction.
right. Well,
So back to
yeah.
how do you nourish your emotions?
Yeah.
Well, there's exercise too. I think physical, feeling the physicality of your being, feeling the weight, the physical weight of your being. Oops. So there's yoga and there's other stuff. And there's just getting out for walks and then there's making plans. Sometimes just the act of making plans helps too. Writing down your goals and intentions. Wow, it sounds like I'm making a to-do list right now. Spend more time on myself. Yeah. Like right now, I've got a little person. No, I can't. I'm on a call right now. Okay. I think, well, matriarchs have a unique perspective to all this. Or maybe it's any type of parenting situation too.
Like this?
Yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm not doing this right now. Thank you. So, yeah. Sometimes it looks different too when you do these things for yourself. Like your meditation isn't going to be in total silence. Your meditation is going to be anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on who interrupts you. And you may hear toilets flushing and people around you, you know. Sometimes I have my son sit with me and do it, but then he gets up, he doesn't want to do it anymore. But
when you get in those states, you know, tell yourself anytime you hear noise, you're just going to go deeper into your meditative state. The noise shouldn't affect you at all.
yeah.
You should be able to get into a place where it doesn't matter what's out there. It takes some time, but you should be able to shut it off. You know?
I can do that at home now. I couldn't do that when this shit started and I stopped going to the group meditation. I couldn't do it here. The noises were different.
Right.
But after a couple, after this amount of time, I can do it here now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does. It takes a little time. Tell you what else has helped me a lot is when I really put some effort into this 4:32 timing twice a day prayer. Hasn't changed a thing out there, but it's changed everything in me.
So explain that more, Steve. What is the process?
For the prayer?
Yeah, well, you're saying 4:32?
At 4:32, yeah, the times,
at
what Gino says.
You know,
Got it.
Set out the plath. Because it takes the resentments away. If you ever have a resentment against everybody, just pray for them. You can't hold a resentment and prayer at the same time. It may take a week. If you have a deep resentment against, this I learned in AA. If you have a deep-seated resentment against something or somebody, usually they're bullshit, but that doesn't matter. It's still real to you. Just pray as hard as, just pray, whether you want to or not. Do it for 2 weeks. I guarantee you, because it's worked for me, and I can only go by what's happened with me. You will not have that resentment at the end of 2 weeks. So they can't exist at the same, they can't exist in the mind at the same time.
or 3 or 4 weeks, doesn't matter, as long as
Whatever it takes.
yeah, if you continue.
When I was going through the divorce, this was so profound. I still remember it like it was yesterday. I was between the ex's lawyer and her. They were kicking my butt, and I mean, I was 5 years sober. I was not stable. I was still crazy. And one of the guys in AA showed me in the literature about praying, praying for somebody else. And I'm like, first of all, I was like, no freaking way. But I had no, yeah, that's the last thing I want to do. I want to pray for them, but never mind. But I did it because I had nothing else, because nothing else was working. And it took probably 2 months for that to lessen. And then I didn't stop it either. I continued right through to the finalization of the divorce because I didn't want that coming back. And it helped, and it got me to the end of the divorce. To the point where the day we finalized the divorce, I suggested that we drive to the courthouse together, and I made my amends to her on the way down. And from that point forward, the second I made those amends, and they were sincere amends, I was able to deal with her at a whole different level for the rest of whatever years it was until the kids were of age. So it works. Prayer works. Prayer is not for the other person, it's for you.
Well, there's lots of tools we can use, isn't there?
It's not easy to do, especially when there's, that resentment can turn to hatred, which is just toxic. But it's not toxic to the other person because they don't give a shit. It's toxic to you.
Right.
And for me, the only way I've ever been able to get rid of it and to truly expunge it is only through prayer, and only through prayer for the other person or situation or entity or whatever it is that the resentment is against. In AA, or whatever rooms you're in, it doesn't matter. They say resentment is the #1 offender. It kills more alcoholics than anything else. It's true. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, because usually it turns into anger.
Mm-hmm.
And then it
And
consumes
rage,
you.
and then it's effort.
You can have resentment towards yourself, right? A lot
Absolutely.
of resentment. I think I have issues with that, probably. No, I don't want to do that.
You gotta go deeper.
Anger, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely have resentment against yourself. Especially when you abuse yourself through whatever means.
Right. Right. Pick from the list.
It doesn't matter. Many
Right.
choices.
Right.
But it's all part of the healing. We're broken people. Nobody out here, most of us out here are broken.
How do we,
I'm playing makeup.
as my daughter's talking to me, how do we raise people to not feel so broken, you know, to not feel all of these things that we're dealing with?
You can't. All you can do is the best you can at the time, at that point in time.
Yeah.
Mom plays makeup.
Like your parents. Your parents did the best they could with what they had. You can never hold a resentment against your parents unless they were totally abusive.
The system is designed to, drive people to failure.
Yes, it is.
So if you can't pull yourself out of that and see it for what it is and not be part of it, you end up, like everybody else, So the fasting brings clarity in all levels. All levels. It just opens you right up. And
Nothing I've done, and I've done quite a few things over the last, tomorrow will be 24 years sober. And I've tried many modalities over these past 24 years. Nothing comes close to the fasting.
No.
Nothing comes close to the master fasting.
I've tried many things too, Steve. That's why I'm still going. No matter what, I fall down. I don't care how many times. I'm still
Why I'm here.
focused on fasting.
Same here. Probably, that's selfishly. That's the only thing that works. I'm here for me. I'm here for everybody, but initially I'm here for me. If I'm not available for myself, if I can't help myself, in no way I can help anybody.
Exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah.
So it's not selfish in the term, in that sense of the word.
We have to take care of ourselves first to be able to help anybody else. That's the way it is. If we don't have our health, we're doomed. What are we gonna do?
It's a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so beautiful too, because you start with yourself and then you just become happier. And then you make other people happy.
Happiness is kind of an illusion too.
Huh?
I think happiness is kind of an illusion also.
I don't.
It's strange. I've never, maybe somebody else can expound on this. I don't understand happiness. I don't know what that means.
Joy.
I believe in
joy
happiness.
Joy for me just seems to be an event. At some point in time, something happens, I feel joy, but then it's gone.
But sometimes I'm just
More will be revealed, I'm sure.
Everything has cycles.
Yes.
I'm so happy with like tiny little things. Like if I'm pretty healthy guy, and like when I'm feeling good and I'm dialed in, I just feel happy about like putting my socks away and like flossing my teeth or whatever. Like I believe in happiness. It doesn't take much. I'm a cheap date. It doesn't take much to make me happy.
There was a saying that I heard when I was in art and design school, the goddess in the details.
Yeah.
And to me, that meant, I interpreted that as you could always notice the beauty in the most simple things.
Yeah.
And it's funny, just makes me think we've been living in a bit of chaos, moving into a new place, and when we got the toilet paper holder, it was just the coolest thing ever, and I just was rejoicing in it. And it's so weird. But
then you couldn't find any toilet paper, so you were screwed.
No, well, the opposite. We realized that we hardly use any because It was the first time I'd counted how much toilet paper we all used. It was something like 36 rolls I had bought. No, it wasn't that much. Let me think. Was it 12? I don't remember, but 2 packs of 12, and it lasted us almost 2 months for 5 people.
I think it's also associated with faith. Like you have to have faith. You know, I think faith is where it begins. You have you develop faith just like you develop your fasting regimen or whatever it is, your garden. And there's an element of it that's intentional, where it's like I'm going to have a happy, fulfilled life. That's it. So like part of it's intentional, and part of it is dialing in your, all of your routines and improving your health every day. And it's associated with faith for me, and with health and being outside. And I have a chanting practice. I don't do silent meditation very much, just a tiny bit, but I do chanting, and it's a lot easier because if there's some noise or whatever, you're using your voice and you're chanting. So, and that gives me a large degree of happiness.
Yeah.
But you have to have faith, like you have to have faith in the other side, or whatever it is that you choose. I mean, the Native Americans say that faith.
Cultivate that faith also, just like you do a garden.
Well, what if your background on faith is completely broken and non-existent?
Then you choose a different one, or you just have faith in life, generally speaking. It doesn't have to be codified faith. Like you decide what it's going to be, and it might change from day to day or year to year, but you cultivate something that brings you small happinesses,
Yeah.
As long as it's not you, a power greater than yourself. That's all you need. You don't even have to identify it.
I was
That was the beauty of when they developed AA, because they knew if they said God, a Catholic God or whatever that was defined by a religion, that nobody would buy it. They would fail. So it was always defined as just a power greater than yourself. Define your own. That's your definition of it. It's personal.
Yeah.
Never one God. They refer to the word God, but it's not a Catholic God. It's not a Buddhist God.
Hey, what about the Book of Miracles? Did you use that, Steve?
No.
No, because I don't know. I've never seen that, but is that like a Christian thing, or is that like more general? Because a lot of AA people use the Book of Miracles. I don't know. I was just wondering.
The Course of Miracles?
Oh, the Course of Miracles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Course of Miracles.
Never heard of it. No, it's not a religious organization.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual.
No, I was asking.
It's not defined like any religion whatsoever. They borrowed from all religions when they were developing it.
Yeah, because I think they.
It's just a code of conduct. It's just like
some of those groups.
Here. It's just a code of conduct.
Some of those groups use the Course of Miracles, I believe.
But there's a lot of offshoots here, and so
yeah.
AA itself does not. Or if they are, they're not following the way it's laid out, which any group can choose to do what they want, but that's not how it's supposed to be.
I feel like I need some sort of routine in my life, talking to somebody where I'm held accountable for that time every week.
Here we are.
Yeah. Here's this, but there's stuff that I can't talk all about here, and nor do I. There's probably another appropriate place for it, but it's almost like I need an appointment to make sure that I take care of myself. Literally, need an appointment. But it's, you know, who do you check in with kind of thing. I took 17 years of antidepressants.
Wow.
Some days I still can't believe that. No, I just still can't believe that.
17 years to what?
No, I took antidepressant drugs.
Oh.
17 years of them?
Yep.
Wow.
It's going to take quite a long time to purge that.
Yeah, you can clean those out.
Oh, yeah.
Not overnight.
No.
Well, you guys never knew Lisa when she started.
No.
She's her first 24-hour dry fast. She's on with me freaking out.
Yeah, or,
So she's come a long way.
Good.
yeah. You know, it's weird, but at the same time, I feel like I'm just at the very beginning.
We're always,
Right.
every day's a new day, right?
Sure, every day.
Yeah.
You have to make that choice every day on how you want to conduct yourself.
I did 11 days straight of meditation, and it felt so right, you know. And then it broke with some disruption to my household, but I want that back. That was a really good way to start my day. So I'll get it back.
Get up half hour earlier.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's many ways that we can integrate things that we really want to do.
Yeah.
Take the time for them. Your husband works during the day?
Yeah, from home. It's a little much. Well, I want to do my thing. I want to light incense all day and I don't know. I mean, it's not horrible at all, and he can be quite helpful. But at the same time, it's just not my space. He doesn't like me to light incense at all. So, yeah. I think we're very we were separated for 6 months because of our logistical situation trying to move to the state. And now that we're reunited, we kind of fell into old patterns. It's an interesting thing about humans.
Oh, yeah. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Well, I was thinking about what is our true nature, right? Is our true nature to be in one place? Or is our true nature to be roaming and seeing new things? Think about how much you love vacations and adventures, and small or large. But then at the same time, I find that for most people, there's also some delight in returning to somewhere, even returning to a routine or something familiar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So were we meant to have some place we knew, but we would constantly go off and look for something else that we didn't know yet? Newness is fun.
Yeah, some of the Aboriginals, they're continuously moving.
Yeah. And our bodies too,
I
right?
know what you're seeking, though. If you're seeking to fill a hole, you're never going to do it.
Steve, you're in a different room, right? Because you're getting an echo.
Oh.
You have your microphone. Can you bring it closer, maybe? Or
Yeah, the room's empty now.
Is it the same room?
Yeah, same room,
Oh,
but there's nothing else in it but the desk and the
yeah.
computer.
When it's empty,
I might
our
have to
home
do
here is
something.
empty. We get echoes, except for this
How
room.
about now? Is it better?
A little bit.
Wow.
You need something to absorb the
I'll
echo.
have to figure that out.
Put up a carpet somewhere, hang it.
Yeah, it's all in the garbage.
With kids, you see it with they want new toys, right? A new toy, a new toy. Or I was observing this, that my kids are asking for a play set in the backyard. But I said, we had one in the past at our old house and you didn't play on it. So, but what's so fun about a playground is that you always go to a different one, or, you rotate, right? And even hiking for us, we like to always pick different ones. It's so fascinating to think about that.
Yeah, why do the children want a different toy? What's wrong with the ones they have?
Exactly.
It's the best toys are ones that I grew up. I didn't get no toys. We made our toys.
Right. Yeah.
We figured things out and started making things.
Somebody tried to give me something yesterday.
I remember
Yeah.
we made our own pinball machine.
Oh, cool.
All kinds of stuff. So you get into that
Yeah.
creativeness state, and you can have fun with anything. Like today, kids are everybody buys in this, that, and the other thing. The creativity is out the window,
Yeah.
and that's the challenge.
It's really crazy too how they're online and they're living their lives in a virtual reality world. And in some ways, we're going through this. I'm happy because they're socializing with other kids online right now. Nobody will get together with us. So they're online talking and playing with each other, and or they have people that they know who moved away. So this is one way to keep up with them, is to play online games. And we only allow for the most kid-friendly games, let's say. But they're still living in a virtual state. They're doing these things. They're building in a lot of these games, and they're living lives. They're creating families in these games. They have pets. They have houses. They make kitchens. They make bedrooms. And it's creepy because for those of us who've gone down the rabbit hole of where mankind's headed, this is sort of the conditioning for it, that you're going to live out your life in a, I think I've heard it referred to it as a 2D reality, instead of living the actual real thing. And we'll see what happens. And for us, things will probably adjust so that we're not consuming that kind of stuff on a regular basis again. It's an interesting observation to see it. There's a YouTube channel, Amazing Polly. She's talked a lot about the AI and stuff and where we're headed. And it's the Matrix. That documentary that we all thought was just a movie.
Yeah, the blue pill or the red pill.
Yeah. There was a great set of comics that came out after that, or I don't know, I can't say for sure the date around that, but I remember reading them after, and they just took off with the storyline. I feel like I need to reread them now to pick up on what else is going to happen. But I'd like to know if anybody else has felt way more physical anxiety, uncontrollable anxiety after fasting more and more.
Well, what happens when you fast? All weaknesses come to the surface.
Right.
And when you go in with that understanding, you know that it's getting better. That's the direction you're going. No matter what we may perceive at the time because of the healing reactions. So what do? We embrace it. We use the tools to pull us through. That's it. And do that over and over and over. And eventually it fades away because you're in a fasting state. You're always moving toward balance. We can't say that no matter what diet you eat. Only in a fasting state you're moving towards balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the diets, food's wonderful and we love to eat and so on and so forth. We enjoy ourselves, but you're limited to what you can do with addition, with food, eating. Very limited.
Yeah.
Like look at just us here, a few of us here that have gone through, some master fasting and the transformations that have happened. None of these, I haven't seen anything that's happened with some of us here with any diet or any supplements or minerals. I haven't seen it. It doesn't happen. Like Sarah's grown 2 inches,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Steve, look at the stuff Steve's gone through. It's like, it's amazing. It's just the transformations,
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, something just popped into my head. I don't know if it's been discussed much or not, but there's somebody I know who's very into the urine therapy kind of stuff.
Cheers.
What's that? What did you say?
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. And my brain is my brain is on overtime. I've been dissecting things since I was a little girl, trying to figure them out, but to make sense of whatever it is. But what I see with that too, it's just the absence of food, the absence of obstruction. Is if it does anything, that's what somebody's healing from.
If they're fasting, you mean?
Yeah. Right, like
exactly. If there's the fasting.
Right. Yeah, if you
Dino
do.
explained that a couple of weeks ago or whatever it was. Very well. That's the body is expelling that. That is waste. Why would you want to reintroduce waste into the body? I never understood that.
Well, I'm just saying what I've heard.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, so this person, the information has been transmitted to me that there's all sorts of cells that regenerate things using that. But whenever I hear somebody say that this particular thing works, there's always fasting that went with it. So how could you say what did what? Now, I have heard about people who just do that on a daily basis, but they never changed it. They didn't get any improvements, it seems. So that seems like proof to me. Anyways, I just kind of
I did it for a while years ago. I didn't find any benefit from it. The only thing I find benefit is from fasting.
No.
That's it.
An interesting element to it is also that if we think about the breatharian state, we're talking about our body absorbing that liquid anyways. That would be generated, right?
If you're not drinking?
Right. Like, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not drinking, you're in a whole different state, right?
Yeah. So your body wouldn't have, like, it would be, right, total balance.
Well, you're not bringing in any obstructions. So, as Alatam said, once you reach a certain state, your body stops making urine
Right.
completely. And it's because you're on exclusively on fields. And when you're just on the fields, the body makes only what it needs. It doesn't make anything excess because there's no waste product. The waste product comes through addition. And no matter what diet, you're going to produce waste, right? No matter what you put in your mouth, you're going to produce waste. And, you know, through urine, through feces, whatever, through the skin, the body gets rid of these high energy packets when we're eating and drinking because it's excess. It's the obstructions. The body had to do much work to process it, and it has to get rid of that excess. If it was needed, it wouldn't get rid of it. The body has all the intelligence of all the universes. And, you know, we think that we know better. Good luck.
Yeah.
The more we've come down the road of knowledge in this realm, the more we got ourselves further away from nature, and the more we've gone through imbalances, more and more and more so. So, you know, keeping things simple, just allowing, trusting, surrendering to soul, and let it do its magic. This is where it's at. This is where we see the magic happening. It's not through, you know, adding things. I don't see it. If somebody can enlighten me, please. But I've been at this a long time and I haven't seen it. I've gone down those paths, and I only went into the direction of imbalance, challenges.
Yeah.
It's interesting how people come up with different things. You know, the fecal implants they're doing, so, you know, that's going to help you.
What?
Fecal implant.
Fecal implants. You've heard of that?
Oh.
No? Yep. This is nothing. It's nothing new, but everything comes full circle. I don't remember when they originally did it. They would, like, for example, somebody that was depressed, they do a fecal implant to somebody that's always happy, and it would change their state. Right? It goes back, I think, thousands of years. Chinese, they were doing it through actual drinking, the feces waste, but you know, that's dangerous, and they've lost people. Then they figured a way to do it, like through enemas and so on and so forth. And now I think, I don't know if they're doing capsules or if they're doing, you know, just implants through like whatever.
A tube, yeah.
Yeah. So you got to remember, anytime you introduce an energy packet into the body, it's going to change. It's going to affect it. So that's what that's doing. Is that the way towards balance?
I don't think
So yeah, so it made, you know, it changed the person that was, you know, in a depressed state into a happy state. But did it correct all of these imbalances? I don't see that happening. You know, they're doing all these stem cell things. The stem cell stuff is just
that's a magic bullet. It's the same thing, right? They want the magic bullet.
Yeah, it's just another synthetic. It's drug. It's a drug, form of drug. It's not natural. There's
nobody wants to do the work.
Yeah. So.
Am I better? Is my echo better?
It's a little bit. It's but
I opened the door.
Big difference since last times.
You're gonna have to decorate next.
I have to do something. Yeah. Now I'm conscious about it, so I'll figure something out.
A fabric, towels.
Yeah.
Yeah, something to absorb the echo. That's all.
Yeah. Oh well. I guess less is not more in this case, huh?
In where our kitchen and living room is the same thing. It's because we got no couches, no nothing. It's open and you got that echo.
Yeah. They opened the door. I thought that would help a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You know, doing the work is not fashionable. Getting the magic pill is fashionable. Oh, look what's out this week. This is going to do this for you. And then the next week something else, and the week after something else. And that's what people want. You know, Maxine's going to save everybody, right?
Well, like I said, that when I saw that this ex-friend that I knew had gone through whatever sort of treatment for this new disease she has, it reminded me, okay, she showed a picture to say, oh, I just completed this 4th treatment or whatever of something that went through her vein. And it reminded me of the false confidence I had when I was being treated in that way, when I would look to the doctors to help me. And that was years and years of it. And maybe that's what made me upset, is because I had false hope there and it was taken from me, and it never existed. It was an illusion. And this whole idea where you can go to somebody and they're going to fix you, it doesn't exist. And I think that was another reminder of that.
Yeah. Um, you know, there's, some people can assist and guide and help people, and like a hands-on type healing thing, like a Reiki or something. What's actually happening is just guiding the body to do the work, because the other person can't do anything for you. It's always your body that's doing the work through the soul, of course. And if you're, how can we go along just relying on that all the time? What if nobody's around? What are you going to do? So we have to be able to learn and get into these states for ourselves, so we can help ourselves no matter what, no matter where we are. And when we're doing this less is more type of lifestyle, we start to see with clarity how powerful it is to move in the direction of less. There's just no comparison. It's just magical, the stuff that's happens.
The energy level starts increasing almost immediately.
Yeah. As soon as you move out that gunk, the energy level goes up. Until you get into a phase where your body has to move something out. The infections that they say, infections and outfection. Just think of, I just had a sliver yesterday, a wooden sliver, and I left it in overnight. And of course, you're going to get a little bit of pus forming on that. So, it's an infection. No, it's an outfection. The body's trying to move that thing out of it. It's not supposed to be there. So that's a perfect example of why I call it outfection. It's something the body's trying to move out. Shouldn't be in the body. There's an obstruction, and you get these reactions because the body's trying to do everything it can to move it out. So this morning, I just looking at it, just squeezed it, bang, and it just popped out. Already healed.
Yep.
I don't even feel it no more. So, that's the misconception about these infections. Oh, we got to kill all the bacteria, take antibiotics and this and that, or take all herbs to kill everything. You know what I mean? That's going to solve the problem. And I don't see it happening. We can see, herbs are amazing and wonderful, but there's only so much you can do with them. When you're continuously eating, you're only going to get so far. I can see with my mother, I've given her herbs for over a couple of years now, and I've seen the benefit, but it's only goes so far. You know, dementia is still um, progressing, not like what the way it would normally with what's out there. Like I'm telling when I went to the specialist a while ago, I go, yeah, you know, your memory, you know, it goes in phases. It goes, sometimes you can't remember anything, and sometimes remembers everything. It's really weird. He goes, that's strange. He goes, it doesn't happen like that. It's just one day they're there, and the next day they're gone, and it's done. So, you know, that's probably because of what, you know, cleaned up the diet a little bit, and, you know, giving her herbs, you know, to support that. But, you know, you're dealing with somebody who's got no will to live and everything, and you're against all odds, and, you know, not going to change all their diet completely. And
does she still have an attachment to food?
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
Like to 3 meals a day kind of thing?
Not gonna fast. They do like a couple meals a day. Sometimes they'll have a snack or something. But you know, as soon as she starts backing up, she's been constipated her whole life, like I was when I grew up. As soon as she starts backing up, you know, you start seeing the ankles puffing up, you know, enemas, and it goes down. It's just imagine you go to the doctor. What are they gonna do? Water pills, this, that, the other thing. They're not solving anything. So she's had UTIs, you know, her whole life, and all kinds of things. She's been on psychiatric drugs, and it's just the amount of detoxing you have to go through, especially in the upper years of age. It's a lot. It's a lot. So you're only going to go so far with herbs when you're eating. That's why I always like to say, you know, eating and healing do not belong to the same questions. Not that we're condemning eating, but we need to have the understanding that the fasting has to have a regular cycle in our life. It has to be there. So what better way to do it than do it weekly, right? Have a window every week where the stomach's empty, every day, sorry, every week, every month. And, you know, when you get into a more of an advanced state, if we want to call it that, and we can keep our stomach empty longer daily when we're choosing to eat, right? We can keep a longer, you know, window, so we can have more rest, and, you know, just have like one meal a day or something like that. But this is when somebody's more in an advanced state. We've seen one too many people dry themselves out trying these things, you know, with an obstructed body. So you got to work at this for a good couple of years. You know, 1 to 2 years is minimum for most people. Some people will have to go closer to 2 years. Some people will be able to get away with it just after a year to just try and open the envelope of the dry fast and so on and so forth. But that's the direction we want to go, because if we go back to eating, you know, we're going to go backwards. I don't care what diet. We've all experienced it. We know what food does. Even fruit. You overeat fruit, what happens? You don't feel good. And it's not as bad as overeating like a pizza or something, but, you know, nowhere near that. But it's still, you overeat fruit every day, you're going to feel it. You're going to be urinating like crazy, and so on and so forth. The body's working way too much, even with, you know, fruit. So work on things to expand that the divine natural state, where the body's working mostly on fields. And the food thing is, okay, I love to eat still, so I'm going to enjoy a small meal, you know, once a day or whatever, for a few days a week. And continuously work on that. There's so much we can do, so many different scenarios. It's infinite of possibilities for anyone to make it work for themselves. You know, like somebody starting 1 day a week and then start moving up to 2 days a week, and so on and so forth. Continue with that.
I have a question about, I think this has been covered, but I can't recall. So when doing, let's say 3 days a week of master fast, and then 1 day after that would need to be a dry fast day, when is the ideal time to work that dry fast day into the 7-day week?
The dry fast is always best with what? An empty stomach. So it's,
Right.
I always would recommend doing the liquids days before the dry fast, at least
Yeah.
one day, you know what I mean? Then do your dry.
Right. Yeah.
You may, let's say you're in level 3, you're doing 3 days a week. You could do 1 day liquid, 1 day dry, and then another day liquid after the dry, or you can do 2 days liquid, and then 1 day dry, and then, you know, you're breaking.
Yeah.
The day you break, you do it's just fruit, nothing else. So there's many, many, many scenarios. Each one will feel better with certain different things that they're doing.
Yeah.
So you have to try different things to see how it works better for you. But ultimately, the dries, hands down, it's going to be a better experience when the GI tract is empty. Always. If you've done any, you know, several dry fasts and you've experimented, you'll understand it's always best to do it with an empty stomach. Judith was sharing last week, you know, she did a really, really, you know, thorough cleaning of her GI tract this time to do her 5-day dry fast. And she says it was the best 5-day dry fast experience she's had. She's done, you know, a few of them. Because if you have gunk in there or food stuff and you're doing the dry, the focus goes there. And that's why you don't see all that amazing, magical stuff happening with all these people doing dry fasts out there, because they're doing them. GI tracts are full.
Mm-hmm.
They're full. Empty it out, and you see a whole different scenario. You know, nothing empties out your GI tract better than massive fasting. That, hands down, there's nothing I've seen that comes close to doing a thorough cleanup job. And that's what we focus on, is removing obstructions. That's it. That's our whole focus at the physical, mental, emotional level. And we continuously do that, you know, and when we choose to eat, we have to deal with that, no big deal. But when you find that balance, as I always said, that your week is, it comes to a point where even though you're eating, you're in a de-obstructing state. You have enough fasting days where, and you're not eating too much that the food overtakes the subtraction, meaning that you're obstructing versus de-obstructing in your week to week. You know, for some people, 5 days a week eating is too much. And some people, 5 days a week, they'll be able to do okay because in the 5 days, they're only eating small amounts or whatever. But for some people, maybe, you know, 3 days a week is already too much eating. So everybody's got to find their balance to make it work for themselves. And that's all we can do. Brittany's joined us and dance. So we're going over some ideas on how we can nourish the emotion. Because when we nourish the emotion, the last thing on our mind will be food. So if anybody has things that they've done that helps them, we've shared a few. Steve's talked about yoga, meditation, and working in the garden. You know, if you remember as a child, playing outside, not a care in the world. Food was the absolute last thing on my mind. My parents had to scream to get us inside to go eat. we didn't want to eat. We didn't want to take a break. So, you know, when you get in those states, you're nourishing the emotion, and you're not going to need food because you're being truly nourished. You're being fed through the fields, and that's where that's the only way we're going to be able to live a fasting lifestyle, is if we continuously are able to nourish the emotion. Otherwise you're not going to sustain yourself in a fasting lifestyle. So what do we do? Anybody got any more ideas?
I have one. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I don't know if you can hear me properly because I'm kind of slightly whispering. But one of the things I do to nourish my emotion is to concentrate on things that I really love to do, which is creative things, such as using my hands to make things, drawing, craft, building. And when I focus on these expressive endeavors, I tend not to concentrate too much on what I want to put in my mouth.
So basically doing things that you love to do.
Yeah, essentially. Especially when I have a deadline, then I really just have no time to be stuffing my face.
Right. Keep them busy.
Yes, keep them busy.
Awesome.
That's it.
Brittany has her hand up. 1 minute. Jump in when you're ready. I know something that will help Brittany.
Protocol.
It has strings on it. Am I right or am I wrong?
Wait, what's the strings part? Follow the protocol is a big one.
No, the strings of your guitar.
Yes.
Music, musica, la bella musica. People go to concerts and so on and so forth. They get into these states watching performances. Isn't that also nourishing the emotion?
Yeah. And I don't want this to die. I think this is the broken one and that's not. 1 sec.
Yeah, if you remember what I mentioned, if you're listening.
It's I'm just plugging my phone in so it doesn't die, but it's the other things, because personally, at this time, I can't go back to food. I can't even think about it. I can think about it and then send it love and then have to move forward. I have to.
Take care of your phone. But I mentioned to you, play every day, 90 minutes. It sounds like a lot, but once you're in that elemental, in that state, in that element, 90 minutes is nothing.
Yeah. If this dies, I will get another charger and come back on, but it's got battery left. Yeah, honestly, I was jumping a lot and was in my head, and I haven't unplugged myself yet, but earlier today it was strange. There was a lady who does gravity pressure colonics, and she was talking with me and just allowing me, talking to me about letting go of things, but I was on my side and she filled me with some of the water and was massaging, and then I told her I felt the cramping, so she had me get up and go to release, but the water was it was trapped, so I just relaxed, and she said, no, it's okay, it can stay in there, and I said it does, but with me, if it stays in for a long time, it doesn't come out. So I was very, very, very exhausted today. I could barely move, and I just made myself get up and go do a kalima for a long time, and that's what I found, unlodges the old water, and if I go deep enough with it, it gets up high and it just pulls some old yellow out and everything like that. And the thing that I need to get in rhythm with is the juice, and balance those things. and take food out of the equation, which I've done. But there was this part of me, like I guess it's my old conditioning, or not conditioning, my old patterns that need to let go of like how I was approaching this before, and stop thinking about like, you know, if the juice isn't moving down and nothing's coming through, get over the idea of—
Brittany, one sec. We were talking about what things do you do that nourish your emotions, and we're not worried about the juice and how it comes down and all that stuff.
the music and the right.
What? Okay, music. So how often do you do that? You do it daily?
I did today. I didn't do it yesterday, but I started to the night before. I did it for a little while, and when I'm in a very like, not like, it's hard to explain the state my body goes into when I'm just all like just filled with like everything, or even water, like where someone will say something to me and I can't focus, but then I go into the music and it helps me. But and my body's constantly bringing me into the pains that I'm experiencing, so I like move through that, and then sometimes I put it down because I realize I have to like do something to get myself feeling better. But I need to do it either way, and when I do it, especially when I'm in like the state I was in earlier today, after I left her place, and she gave me, I was like grateful, but she gave me, it was like sea vegetables in like salt water, and said that I needed to drink that because I was dehydrated and I needed minerals. And my intuition was like, no, I don't really, my body's going to do that when I move the obstruction. So I like sipped some and I was exhausted like right afterward. And I thought of the salt, and it's a beautiful like soup beverage and everything like that. But I realized that it was like not in line with like being just like on that like fasting like full like swing. So I enjoyed it, but like the salt and everything like that, it just like it wasn't what I needed. But I thanked her, and I just felt really sick until I did the other things. But when I got into this state that I'm in tonight, like after like washing, it's like the first thing I started doing was like writing, and then I picked up my guitar, and it's like that's what I need to be doing like all the time anyway, because that will pull me away from focusing on what is not, or what obstacles I'm dealing with. Because when I focus on the obstacles—
have you tried playing your guitar after you wash your colon?
Yeah.
Right after. And what has it done? Is it in 4-3-2? And what has it done for you?
What it feels like after that is, because I remember like the water, it synergizes with it. Like the water has memory, and it just relaxes me. But it also, sometimes I'll just vamp on like certain chords, and it just feels good on the body. When I'm in a state where there was a lot of lodged water like earlier today, or I had like the soup thing, and I play it, I don't feel anything. And then it's almost like my brain is connecting to it. But after I wash my colon, and if I go deep and the water comes through and it like nourishes me, and then I go and play music, it's a whole nother world. It really is.
Okay, so continue.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure it's in 4-3-2.
Yeah.
Because 4/4 is dissonant.
Yeah, it is. And it's like I was the person that I'm like with, it's like a relationship and stuff like that. But a lot of times I just like being with myself, because we're in the car and we're going there to the place today, and there was a lot of the radio station like blasting with like a lot of like Led Zeppelin, which I used to play like a long time ago. But when I was in that like very tired state and it was just playing, I just felt like it was kind of funny to like think about it, but it just felt like hell. And I was just like, I had my head like down and it was just turning to the side, and then I put the Hertz generator on, because I was like, I can't do this programming right now. It was like rattling me a lot. And even when I'm feeling better and I take that in, I appreciate it, because like in my rock days, I loved that music. And when I'm like completely de-obstructed, I still enjoy it, but something about it just doesn't it doesn't vibe with me anymore. It's like I shifted away from it. Like it rattles me. My energy doesn't like it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what other things that you do that help nourish your emotion?
Poetry, sometimes just writing everything that I'm feeling and then lighting it outside and just sending it to the universe. I actually like to go outside, even when I'm not feeling good. I like to sit by the animals and watch them because I kind of communicate with them. Like every time I was sitting outside and my energy was dipping, or in the past when, because he smokes, and like if I would smoke, this carpenter bee would come over by me and it would be buzzing like crazy, and I'm like, it was like, and it happened every time. And it's like the animals, they know, they are so connected to everything, and they've just always been, even when I'm preparing something, if it doesn't feel right, but then I overrode it and stuff, this blue jay would always come over by the window and start yelling until I changed what I was doing. And I just like to sometimes just watch them too, or just look at the sky and just like see how they're interacting. And especially when the birds they're flying and they're just doing this sacred geometrical dancing with one another. It's just being in nature. Going for walks, I want to start doing more as well.
Okay, so all these things that help you, continue with them.
Mm-hmm.
Daily.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime you start focusing on the water stuck and this and that, go back, pick up your guitar, or go walk in nature, or do all the things that you just said, write poetry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you got to do over and over and over again.
Yeah. And with the physical parts, I started to realize, like, with things just being lodged up there, like the juice is honestly the only way I can see anything just actually kind of like, and the pudding just like actually pulling, and the washing. And someone had told me, because of like being like that backed up, and so this is what I wanted to run by you, and I kind of already know the answer. They were saying like to try to take castor oil internally, and I thought, and I tapped into my body and I said, if I did that right now, it would kind of sit there and just like swell up, and it didn't seem right. So I did the pack instead, or I just rubbed some on me as well.
When are you going to try following the protocol?
Now.
Well,
and the protocol says don't do that, right? Because I've looked at some people's posts where
protocol is very specific.
It's protocol just says what to do, not what not to do.
Okay.
And you're going outside again. You're at a woman giving you a client, giving you advice, and you're buying into it again. You're going to keep getting the same answers if you keep looking for the same answers. You're looking for the same answers, and you're still getting it.
I have like
over and over and over and getting the same results. Why don't you try something radically different?
Just focusing on.
No, just like follow the protocol. Do that for 2 weeks and see what happens.
Just focusing
do it for 1 week, because you can't even do it for 1 day.
Yeah, and just focusing on what's written there, because when I was on the page and I was like looking up or just reading through some old posts, and there were people like on MFS, and like the other people on MFS were saying castor oil and this and that, and I was just like, but that doesn't make sense because they say to not do that. So then I just kind of like let that go, and I was like, I'm not really going to use that internally.
Listen only to people who are living and loving it. Ignore anything else.
Okay. Yeah, that makes
sense.
Not
living and loving it. If they're not around anymore, don't pay attention to what they say.
Okay.
That's why we're here every week. For people who are, living and loving it. So why do we got to focus on anything else? Doesn't work. Yeah. Been there, done that, over and over and over and over again.
That makes sense too, because there's beautiful posts like on the threads, but then there's so many old posts where all these people were all out in the mind, and like just kind of come here and just read the protocol, and whenever I have
you're looking for something that I have no idea what you're looking for. You're not going to find it. If you continue to do what you're doing, you are never going to find your answers.
You got to go within. The basic theme of all of us, I can assure all of us, we were always searching for something out there.
Absolutely.
And we jump from one thing, we jump to another, we jump for another miracle thing coming, and another, and we're always going, and we're just spiraling out to more and more confusion. And when the day came that this is all bullcrap, and you go within, and you keep things very basic, very simple, you start seeing profound changes happening. Once you decide that you've had enough out there and you decide to go in.
Yeah.
You've been letting us know, you're just plugging yourself up and doing it over and over and over again, not following the basics of what we're sharing. And you're going to get the same results doing that. You've been doing it how many years? What's your age?
27, and since 2018 or 2019, that's when it like started. It got pretty bad.
So when are you going to decide that you've had enough and start doing something completely different and just stick with it, no matter what anybody tells you, no matter what jacket or colon therapist or whatever, whoever, PhD or whatever, it doesn't mean anything. Go within. Your soul knows what to do.
Yeah, it does.
It does. In autopilot when you clean up the GI tract. It's that simple, Brittany. It really is that simple. We don't need to know the intricacies of who, what, where, when, why, and how it all works. We don't need to know. And it will not help us by knowing. Even if we did know, it does not.
Yeah. Because you won't know until you experience it. And that's what I realized. And until you just surrender to it. And the last time I had the troubles was I was feeling like very tired. I had been drinking my juice and I was having a little issues with my enemas, but I was just going to move through. And someone asked me how I was doing. They had been on master fast. I said, I'm okay. Just feeling tired, having a little tough time with enemas, but doing okay. Drinking my juice. And they were kind of like saying like, well, if you're not moving anything out, like maybe the juice is too much for you right now. And then that's where my mind started going. And like, I just don't want to listen anymore.
Either and read the protocol. I don't know how much easier it is. How much easier to say your answer? That's your answer.
Just read the protocol. That's it.
Well, a little more. Follow the protocol. Read, then follow.
Follow the protocol. Yep.
That would be a radical change for you.
Just stubbornly stay with the protocol for like.
Well, you're stubbornly staying without it. Why don't you try and reverse it?
Yeah, stubbornly stay with it. Yeah.
You're listening to every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Cindy out there.
Yeah.
But you're not listening to anything we're saying. You haven't. I don't know how long you've been around, a few months now. You haven't listened to one word we're telling you. And we're just saying the same thing over and over.
And so are you, saying the same thing over and over.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a few of us here that been master fasting a bit and had some profound changes. And all we did is follow the protocol. That's all we did. We didn't go to the colon therapist and to get her opinion, and we didn't go to the acupuncturist and get their opinion, and we didn't go to the chiropractor and get their opinion. We listened to what they say.
She was someone I knew, and she asked if like I wanted to do a colonic session, so I did go. And then she just kind of like, I wasn't feeling well, but she asked me like what was going on, and I told her a little bit, and then I got like her story and everything. I didn't really like want to get into that or anything, but I just want to just trust within, and like everything here is the only thing that is.
Bye. Battery died.
Stubborn.
It's tough. It's tough when people go through healing reactions.
The belief systems are hard to break through.
Yeah, it's tough for people. Very tough. It's tough to believe that your soul actually knows what to do. You know, because otherwise people would do it, would be doing it and would be following it and let it happen, surrender, just work on focusing on elimination. That's it. That's all. Support it and continue over and over again and watch what happens. We've seen it happen thousands of times over and over with people. So the only time it doesn't work is when
You don't work it.
you don't do it. I don't care how, challenge somebody is. If they have that will, you're going to see some magic happen. Extreme cases we've seen, man, just whoa, it's magical. Anybody else want to throw in some stuff, how to nourish the emotion?
I want to say something. I totally relate with what Brittany's saying, because
we all do.
I'm so stubborn like that, and you guys keep saying the same beautiful things. Like, you've been hearing, but I gotta say, like, that makes such a huge difference to hear that consistency from this group, because no matter how many times I hear it, I still get this like other thought in my head, like, you know what, but maybe they don't know this one or something ridiculous.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
And then I test it, and then I realize, oh, right, okay, that didn't work again, but I just need to keep hearing it. So
that's the ego. The ego always thinks it knows better. Always.
Nasty thing, that ego. But just I only actually tuned in for the last probably 20 minutes, so I don't know if you guys have been talking about this one as far as handling emotional stuff, but man, there's tons of that in my head, and I noticed, like, I mean, some of the stuff I think I've learned in the past about how I learn is emotionally, and just going through emotions and trying to get through them and that kind of thing, and then that way. But for me, I think it's like a connection, trying to get a connection with people, and people that I'm close to, like these days I'm just staying at home with my mom, and so dealing with emotions and trying to work through some of the difficulties of this experience and this protocol, and just being and having people to kind of talk to, and that's not easy because there's not a lot of people that relate, that
exactly,
that are close by, and so just trying to form that connection and then keep that connection. And then there's also this, not everybody's that I'm connected to is doing this protocol and this kind of having these experiences. So I just find that when I am able to make connections that way, it just makes things so much easier. But other than that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, just trying to do what kind of people are doing, take their mind off things, use my hands, doing some gardening here and there, getting out, walking. And like these days, it's been nice here. We've been able to get some sunshine and get some vitamin D, all that stuff. That's it. I just want to share that. And mostly the struggle that I can totally understand where the struggle comes from and how hard it is to stick to protocol.
Yep.
And then there's always the mucosal diet healing system, because I when I read that book, like I can just pick it up and read like 2 pages, and then, well, before I kind of started doing MFS, like I would just say, okay, I'm doing fruit today, all day, just fruit, 36 hours. And it doesn't take much, but like that helps me so much with consistency. And now that I've been coming to this Zoom, it's like I have to be, it has to be right in front of my nose all the time. And then if it is, then it's so much easier for me to just make a small commitment of 36 hours or however I'm going to break up the protocol. Like just having the support group or reading Professor Eric's books. It's like, I've been doing that for so long. It's just like, okay, I'm going to go to the store and I'm just going to buy apples. That's it. You know, it's really easy. So like, I like to hear it, you know, I need to hear it. I have short memory. If I don't hear it, then, you know, then I'm just getting in all sorts of trouble or doing whatever I'm going to do, you know.
John, thanks for mentioning Eric's book. I just started reading that, and I read the Grape book finally that you recommended before, the Grape Cure and stuff. I wanted to ask other people, like, what, especially Gino, what's on your reading list? You must have read the Mucusless Diet at least a few times, and like what?
That's how I started.
Okay.
Me
That
too.
totally makes sense. I mean, I hadn't heard that, but as I started reading it, I started thinking, a lot of this sounds really familiar. Is there a book list you have somewhere that we can kind of look up and see what you've been reading, or?
Well, I don't read anymore, but I in 1990 I got handed Mucusless Diet, the healing system, and that's it. I knew fasting was my part of my life, and then it's been a big roller coaster ride to find, you know, really a system where you can allow the body to, you know, do its magic and it's sustain its natural state, its divine natural state, we love to call it. We learned a lot from Arnold Ehret's books, but now that was over 100 years ago, and his formula V equals P take away O took me decades to really understand that, what that was. And there's not many people who understand what that means, that formula. But you know, we're 33 decades later now. We've learned quite a bit more than what he started off with. It's like what, over 100 years now that he wrote the book. So we continuously expand and evolve through our experiences. And if his life didn't end, you know, short through his accident, he would have come to much more understanding as well.
No doubt.
That's all that happens when you fast. You come to more and more understanding through the experiences. I read that. I read John, what is it, not John? Bernard Jensen, Bowel Cleansing book. That's a good book. The Grape Cure, of course, read that. Paul Bragg had a fasting book, read that. But there's so many other ones. I gave all my books away about 5 years ago. I'm done with books, and now it's time to connect to the limitless realms and get the information straight, direct, through the experiencing. And that's what we suggest. Yeah, read some of these books, but don't get too caught up in them, because
That's somebody else's opinion.
yeah. So
But that's it. I mean, that's the connection. That's like, for me, some of that is like, I want to connect so badly with people, and sometimes I find myself reading like Eric's book recently and thinking like, yeah, I'm really starting to connect with this, and then I start searching, and then I start reading, and then that slowly drifts off into, well, maybe I should add this to the protocol, or change this from, you know.
Right.
So it's interesting to hear that.
well, this is what happened in all these years, you know, trying to get something better. And it was the mentality of addition. And that's what led me astray and got me in trouble a few times because I missed the boat. It's in subtraction. V equals P take away O. It's all about subtraction. And once you really understand that, everything's going to change for you. And you're not going to be searching for the next wonderful thing that's going to save the world. Because that's what we look for. Go ahead.
Hey, Gina. I was just going to ask you, I heard about a woman that's in your group. I don't know what her name is, but she's a professional tennis player.
Right.
And she,
Hello, man.
my buddy told me that because I'm interested in, athletics, and I've always been athletic. So, if in fact somebody who is like seriously engaged in athletics can still function on a significant master fast, and she was training like on her fasting. I don't know if she trained on like dry fasting days, but I wanted to ask you about her. I don't know who she is, or like if I can read about her somewhere, or if you guys can just fill me in on her.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we did an interview, but she was on a couple of our calls way back. Yeah, she did 108 days. She came from a background of, mainly fruitarian lifestyle for several years, clean, raw eating and so on and so forth. And she asked me, I'm a tennis player pro, and this is what I do. I work out 5-6 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. I said, she goes, can I do this on the fast? I says, absolutely. Do you believe you can do it? And then she jumped in. And she kept working out 5-6 days a week, 5-6 hours a day throughout her whole 108 days. And she even did a tournament on the fast. So what's master fast? Yeah, it's got the dry days. So she didn't stop. She continued doing her workout. And she actually was one of that lost one of the least amount of weight of everybody who did 108 days. So it was pretty interesting.
So on dry days, she was training like hardcore on dry days.
Yeah, to get all the details, but I'm saying, this is the structure of master fast. There's the dry days, there's everything in there. So she was doing the protocol, and she was, doing all that. I don't remember if she did her 24-hour dry on the day off or whatever. I don't know. I'd have to get the details from her. She's on the page. She's always there. Her name is Salome, or it starts with a D, her last name. I can't pronounce it. But she shared her story when she was doing it. And on her tournament, she even she had to throw up, she said, and then she went to complete the tournament. So it's amazing what capable. Like, you're talking about somebody who's a pro athlete, right? So they're used to working out. So it's not like somebody who's not an athlete jumps in master fast, wants to be an athlete. That's completely different scenario. So that's why I knew she can do it, because she was already in a clean type diet for years, and she was able to manage it. And she did wonderfully.
Yeah, because a lot of people would be interested in that particular case, because you're dealing with somebody who pushes their body to the limit, and they do something as serious and profound as this kind of protocol.
5-6 hour a day workout, playing tennis, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Whatever else she was working out with. But I remember she made a statement about her coach says, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I've never seen you perform like this before, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. See, there you have it. You know, that's the thing. Like, people want to know stuff like that, you know, because that everybody's into sports. Everybody wants to push themselves harder. And, you know, I'm getting older, so I'm losing a little bit of interest, but I find that fascinating that somebody can, you know, has been doing that.
Yeah, like Steve shared.
I worked out last year,
Yeah.
every day. You know, my normal, in the gym every morning.
What did you?
And I fasted a lot last year, a lot. And the farther into a fast I was, the higher the intensity of the workout was.
Yeah.
But that's, you know, once you start cleaning out.
Yeah,
You have to
start
get
that, you know.
through the initial purge, and then the level. Then you're going to get some healing reactions coming through here and there, you know. But once you remove that heavy load, then you see the
It was the
energy.
same thing in the garden, running the tiller. I could run the tiller. I ran the tiller 4 or 5 hours straight last year. Never was able to do that. And on a dry fast, in 90-degree full sunshine. So,
Yeah, because like if I'm a biker, you know,
hardly breaking a sweat on top of it.
I'm like a kind of, well, I used to be a distance, what would be called a distance athlete, and you know, but now I primarily just biking, but even just doing, you know, before I caught up with you guys, just doing all fruit day, like it's so much easier to ride a bike, you know, long distances or hill riding on an all fruit day. You know, it's like night and day than if you have a full meal and then you go riding. You know, it's so easy.
Yeah, when I was in Italy, that was 4 years ago or so. Anyway, I did my first 12-day dry fast. That was interesting because the area I was in was a lot of hills, and I was biking every day.
Wow.
And it was tough some days, but you know, I got through it. You know, and there every day I would have to go to class. I would have to go up all uphill, straight, quite an incline. And one day was really, really tough, but I did it every day, and did extra biking. And I was jumping in the ice cold water in the winter in the sea there. It was just awesome. It's amazing what you can achieve when you purge out the obstructions. It's just amazing. Like the only thing standing in our way is our frickin' belief system and all the programming we've had. That's it. That's the only thing. And it keeps coming in. You know, even though you're doing amazing things that you've never done before, you're still gonna have the frickin' monkey mind jumping in, trying to persuade you to this is not right and something's gonna happen or whatever. All kinds of bullshit. It doesn't stop. So you have to, you know, be in a place where you have to put that stuff aside, and then we have a support group, and we continue with this. So we reprogram ourselves to the new understanding, and you know, where everything's possible, because that's where we're going. You know, I surprise myself, you know, with things like right now. If I go into a bike ride, I'd be falling flat on my face. I haven't ridden a bike in 2 years after starting taking care of my mom, but. You know, once you get into it, you pick up fast. It's the body regenerates, recuperates very, very quick, much quicker when you're in a fasting state versus an eating state. So these are all wonderful things. You know, when you go through healing reactions, your body's going to need extra rest, and you give it to it. No big deal.
So when you did that 12-day, did you do that with other people, like-minded people, or did you do it on your own?
All on my own. People thought it was cuckoo, right?
Did you tell? I mean, you told people you were traveling. Were you traveling with people?
A few classmates, right? They knew what I was doing. Yeah, you better start drinking. Right? But yeah, you know, guys,
but it is.
Elatom rode his bike. I don't know how many hundreds of miles He's always on a dry fast. He doesn't eat and drink.
Who's that?
Elton, Elamine.
Hold on, wait, I'm losing you. Hold on a second.
Elatom. Can you hear us now? Hello.
Sorry, that was that was just my headset. I can hear you now.
Elatom, Elamine. I did an interview. He was at my house last summer.
What's his name?
Elatom.
Shit.
Put it in the chat.
Sorry, could you just spell it for me?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Gino,
Yeah.
I saw the video with Tom and you together, the Zoom session, but I don't remember everything he said. He said that he rarely eats, very, very rarely. He's mainly on a dry fast. But when does he consume food? Do you remember what he said?
When does he consume food? What did he say? Is that what he said?
Yeah. Because he said he's mainly dry fasting, but he eats very, very rarely. But when does he eat? Do you remember? Because I can't remember.
He was eating very occasionally. I don't keep track and ask, but when he was here, he was saying that, he's doing it less and less and less, the eating thing. So you'd have to, if you want details, get it from him. But I'm just saying, what's possible out there is hard for people to believe. Elatom is full of energy, full. And this is somebody mostly doesn't eat or drink anything.
Is he a African guy? Is he a black guy or?
Yeah. I don't know.
I
think is he from Africa?
No, he's petite. He used to be called Starfire. He used to call himself Starfire.
Well, that's Genesis. No, somebody else.
Oh, because that guy was breatharian. He used to be Fruitarian 1, and then he went to breatharian.
Yeah, we know he was in the group too at the beginning.
So this guy is also an athlete. Elatom?
I don't know if you would call him an athlete, but
he's in phenomenal condition, that's for sure.
He's in good
shape. Take a look at some of his pictures and see. Tell me.
That's cool. I haven't seen him.
When you're living an obstruction-free lifestyle, you don't need a lot of exercise to maintain a muscular, strong body. You don't need much. You'd be surprised.
I question whether I'm going to go back to the gym and start yoga.
Yeah, I'm just like a wire, I've always been that way. I used to be a runner. But yeah, you don't need much at all.
Like, this whole thing about food, most of us believe that we have to eat, otherwise we'll die. And I don't believe that anymore. Like I understand and I know what's possible. Am I at that state where I don't have to eat and drink? No, I'm not. But when Elatom left, that for about a month, I hardly drank anything. I didn't eat. I hardly drank anything. I think it was like 3-4 liters I had of liquid, total liquid in that month after he left. That's not much. you know, because he supercharged me.
Yeah.
But it's just, you know, what's possible. We don't know the all the possibilities because it truly is limitless. Like we're just scratching the surface in understanding the capabilities of what we can do in this physicality. Let's look at it that way. And we broke through a lot of paradigms in Master Fast, a lot about drinking water and this, that. And we broke through a lot in the last 5 years that opened up the alternative, you know, detoxification world like no other. You know, we understand what true detoxification is. We thought we knew it before, but we're at a whole different level now. So, you know, we're continuously learning. You know, as more of us are experiencing this type of lifestyle, we're continuously learning. We don't know everything. We never said we do, but we've come a long way. And we've seen a lot of magic happen. That's all we can call it, is magical, because we don't know how it happens exactly, and so on and so forth. We just surrender to the soul. Brittany, do you guys prefer the juice cold for cleaning or warm? I've been heating it up, then adding the lemon. Also, Gina, did you wash your fields and rinses best before tea and AM? You got your hand up. Yeah, you know, whatever way you like, Brittany. Lately, I've been, in the last few months, been doing it warm. I love it warm. Heat it up. Putting some herbs in there and a little bit of pinch of cayenne, some ginger and stuff. Any way you like. Any way you like. When you warm it up, it will help move things more so than cold, so the body doesn't have to use energy to warm it up. Right? So try different ways, you know, warm, hot, cold. Try it out different ways.
Hey, Gino. When you first hit on the plasma pudding and the concentrated grape juice and the lemon, when you first hit on that, were you instructed by somebody, or were you given hints aside from, like, say, the Grape Cure book? I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I'm interested in how you got that, like, you got that all dialed in where you just knew you had something special.
Well, John, it didn't happen overnight. It was,
I figured.
Yeah. After I got handed the Arnold Ehret's book, I ran into a good friend of mine, who's a good friend of mine now. I've known him for 30 years, herbalist. And he showed me Dr. Bernard Jensen's book, bowel cleansing book. And he goes, you got to get this stuff out of you. Like, I'm thinking in my head, no freaking way we got this crap inside us, right? So I had to prove him wrong, right? So I go, how do you get it out of you? He goes, you got to do a 40-day fast, right? Okay, what can I use to fast? He goes, you can use that Concord grape juice, which is, you know, back then they used to have up in Canada, Wiley Brothers it used to come in gallons. I still have the empty gallons of this Concord grape juice. It was $10 for a gallon. Back then, that was a lot of money back then, but it was awesome juice. It was grown locally, and they went out of business many years ago. But anyway, so that's what I did. I jumped in and I did a 40-day fast, and I had plaque come out of me like no tomorrow, almost for every single day of those 40 days. But because I was such in a toxic state back then, people are way more toxic today. I came out of that very, very poorly and badly and ended up in bed for 2 years. Right?
Too fast.
My body wasn't able to get rid of the toxins that the fast loosened up, right? And that's the power of the cooked juice that I had no understanding of.
Yeah.
That understanding came decades later. And what gave me the understanding was the alternative plasma science.
Yeah, so you put it together with the idea of plasma physics, and then the Keshe people. How did you, like, what was it precisely that like you, like when you finally had your epiphany, like how did you bring those two things together, like the grape, because the grape has always been revered as a healing food, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Grape juice fast and so on and so forth. Yeah. Well, the light came on big time when I heard the statement that heat opens up the atomic structure to release its energy. It brings it into a higher order. Once I heard that, I got a flashback of my first 40-day fast, and I understood why that juice did what it did. Because I've done many, many, many juice fasts, raw juice, because I was raw as law, right? 10 years, almost a decade of 100% raw food. And the light went on big time because I got a flashback of all the fasts I did, and nothing had the power of what I did back 40 years ago, right? So the light came on, and with all the experiences of all these decades, I knew exactly what to do. It all fell into place. This is what we need to do to support this, and this, and put it all together. Bang, bang, bang. Master Fast was born. Basically like that. It all was downloaded with all the things I went through. It's not like I just picked them out of a hat. All these things that are Master Fast was all things I experienced. Like that plasma pudding mix, I've been playing with that for years. The bubbly drink, I've been playing with that for years. These are not things that I just came up with. So then I put them all together, and then using the herbs. Like I've used herbs for years, but I found the herbs while you're eating, man, there's not much that happens. You take them for a while and then they don't do anything anymore. They just stop working. So Dr. Morse was another revelation where, using the herbs, but using them in a dry state. I mean, in a fasting state, put them together that way. Holy geez, what's going to happen here? Okay, that's what's going to happen. There's no more plateau with herbs when you're in a fasting state, right? And, little by little, it all came together, and, we tweaked it here and there with many, many other people's experiences, and this is what we have today. Taking the herbs, half doses of tinctures. I experimented on myself. What would happen in a dry fasting state if we do the tinctures? And I experimented myself quite a bit before I said, this thing is powerful. So I have to share it, and implemented that in the protocol, and so on and so forth. So all these things were just accumulations of my experiences, John, nothing more, and other people's experiences, nothing more.
Yeah.
So that's where the cooked juice, the power of it. But the gradient thing in plasma science, when you use it, when you have a gradient, let's add some lemon to that, and you get something else happening, and it becomes even more powerful. People think the lemon is powerful. The lemon has nowhere near the power of the grape juice. It's nowhere near. The lemon is only an activator, and you don't need much of it. Half lemon, a few drops. If some people say, because you're allergic to lemon or whatever, I don't believe it, but it's just activator. So you use half lemon, one lemon, a couple lemons at the most per liter, and you see the difference. If you cook the lemon, it's even stronger. We've had people that they went to the cooked lemon and they said it was just too powerful for them, so they went back to the raw lemon.
Yeah, the whole thing is it's so powerful. Like sometimes, like I can't do 2 to 3 liters of grape juice. Like right now, I can do the pudding and I can do a whole liter, and then the rest I just make up with water.
Water's no good, John.
No water.
Get off the water.
Well, the thing is, but this is basic, but if you take the pudding, don't you need a certain amount of liquid to get the pudding so that it's
Grape juice.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's kind of, to be honest, it's just a little bit, tiny bit sickening for me to have that much grape juice in a day. I'm not used to that.
You're drowning in your own filth. How many herbs are you on?
I'm taking some, yeah, I'm taking anti-parasitic. I'm taking black walnut and just minimal.
John, read the protocol.
And no, I did. I got the protocol. I got it from my buddy too, by the way. I just got the protocol. No, I read it. I read the protocol. But no, it's good. It's good. But just like that much grape juice is kind of, it's a little bit sickening.
Yeah, that's when you start drowning in your own filth. Your body's not able to release the toxins fast enough, and that's how people get in trouble, John.
Back it up. You just back it up, and you recycle it, and that's where it's dangerous. When your body starts reabsorbing and recycling.
A couple people.
That's where the danger comes in.
Yeah, a couple people went to hospital because they're not listening, and whatever. I don't have all the answers, but we've seen it one too many times. People.
No, but I'm getting like really good benefits doing one quart and the pudding, and the fasting and
that ain't master fasting.
Huh?
Master fasting. The whole protocol, John.
Yeah, but 2 to 3 liters of grape juice. Oh man, I'll work my way up to it. Okay.
You choose what you want to do. That's all.
Yeah. Can I interject? Hi. I've been listening to the Zoom for quite a long time, and I really, really, really want to do the master fast. And I've been doing my own type of master fasting, and I know that it's not the right thing to do at all. So that's why I've stopped, because Rana and Gino have said that you have to follow every single part of the protocol, and it's there for a reason. So even though it pains me that I can't do it because I don't have the herbs, I respect the fact that the protocol has been laid out for a particular reason, so it helps everybody and doesn't put anybody in danger. So omitting something and not following it properly is not really the right thing to do.
Yeah, like
I don't know if I'm still there.
We have understanding now, so why not do things prudently? That why put ourselves to risk? Yeah, somebody may be able to do without it, but why even risk it? It's so much easier when you're fully supported. Anyway, by the way, we're shipping international. Just opened up this week.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
that's good news.
We just shipped the first to UK again. So here we go. So hopefully that continues.
Brilliant. Well, if that's fantastic. That's really good news to know that. Realistically, the kit that I can buy is is it called the Star Formation?
The Star Formation 4 is the 4 basics.
Yeah. Yes. So realistically, that's the one that I can buy at the present moment. So having said that, what level do you think I should stick to if I'm just getting the Star Formation basic kit?
2-3 is good for Star Formation 4.
Level 2-3. Okay, cool. Brilliant. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear that. I didn't know that until now, so that's good news for me. Thanks.
We put in the announcements, but as you move up, it's like for me, the more support, the better. We always have 13, 14 formulas at hand, always ourselves. That's just herbs are beautiful, wonderful, amazing beings, and they're here to teach us. And boy, oh boy,
yeah.
When you do a dry fast and you're taking small amounts of herbs, you'll understand the power of
yeah.
They are amazing.
So I know this has already been stated in the protocol, but I just wanted to double check that when you are actually doing a 24-hour dry fast, you're not supposed to take any herbal tinctures, are you?
If you're doing a dry, you take nothing. But we have the levels, right?
Yeah.
Next level of dry would be to take maximum half a dose of the tinctures on a dry fast. That's another level of dry, right? And then we go into another level, which is drinking very small amounts of juice and tea, alternating, like about half an ounce to an ounce every hour. And this is to help people to that have challenges with dry fasting to be able to learn and train the body to expand on the dry fast. Lisa, she was one who could barely do 24 hours, and she used this.
Yeah.
Lisa? Yeah.
Well, 24 hours dry fast is not too bad for me. But to get the most powerful effect, is it best just not to take any herbal tinctures when you're dry fasting?
If you're doing just the tinctures, nothing else, like you're just a small amount, right? You're maximum half a dose of your regular dose. You're gonna see the dry fasting. For me, it's actually more powerful to some degree.
Okay, but when would you take that though? If you do the enema, and then you do the bubbly, and then you start the 24 hours, and then you break the 24 hours with the bubbly, and then you wait a few hours to do an enema. So when would you take the tinctures then?
Inside your dry fasting, twice in the day, right? Same.
Oh, I thought you weren't supposed to drink any type of liquid at all when you're dry fasting.
Yeah, well, the dry fast is dry. We don't just breathe in air, but I'm just saying we have the different levels of dry fasting. Then we also have the colon feeding, right? Which is not taking anything liquids from the top. Washing.
Yeah.
So these are all different levels that people can work with and play with to help themselves and expand on their dry fast. For example, if somebody can barely get through a 24-hour dry fast, it's really hard for them. Well, do some of the tincture. You see, you'll get a little bit of a boost, and then you'll be able to maybe go 36 hours that you weren't able to do before, and so on and so forth. This is what all these levels are there for. Never mind what people are saying about, oh, it's not a dry fast. We're doing things that produce results. We're not doing things because of theory.
Do you think it would be okay to put the tinctures in the bubbly?
I've never had anybody do that, but I think why not? Sure.
Okay.
I've never had anybody ask me that one. That's a first. I've never tried it either.
Well, I'm excited to find that out, how that would work, because now I can actually start the master fast properly now.
All the levels are in the protocol under dry fast, and you can read them there.
Yeah, but I need to get the new protocol because I've got the old one. I just need to get the new updated one and see if there's any changes.
It's always being updated on the website.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that before it was free for everyone, but now you have to pay. So I just want to get the updated one to make sure that, I can see all the things that are different, if there's any slight differences.
Well, that's why you don't know about the levels.
I do know about the levels because it was in the old one. The levels has been a level for the different dry fasting. Yeah, I've read it.
Well, anyway, it's been a while since we've started charging. It's been over 2 years.
Okie dokes. Well, anyway, thanks for the good news.
All right. Brittany, do you guys prefer the juice? Okay, also, did you washing fields and rinses before TNT or after an AM? I don't understand that. Either way, Brittany, whatever works for you, you can do it before or after your TNT. During your raw fast, did you do enemas? 2 raw fast. My raw juice fast. I've always done enemas, Brittany. Arnold Ehret, very, very, uh, you know, talks about enemas a lot. So you learn the importance of doing enemas. With all the different fasts I've done, I've tried fasts without enemas. It's so much easier on the body when you do enemas. So much easier. Why leave them out? On a MFS, you're cuckoo if you don't do enemas, because the stripping power, and like I said, the body cannot get rid of things. You start drawing your own filth, then you start getting in real trouble. Start getting organs shutting down. You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. Where's I'll be back on fun juicy when I get toxic and I feel terrible. On the grape juice, I feel very tired, much until I can pull things out. But I don't feel like it's anything the way you feel like doing juice and veggie. You're not following the protocol, Brittany. So you're just mumbling the same things over and over. I finally feel relieved because I can enjoy the juice and also clean my body. For me, I try to do more juice, but can't always handle more than 1.5 liters. There you go. You just don't want to follow protocol like other people. Also, thank you for your question with the juice and pudding, because this all makes sense in the protocol. I just have a lot of old filth. Don't we all? That's what happened with me. The juice stirs up, but I can't always get it out down fast enough, because you keep plugging yourself up. As you said, the deep fried foods and so on and so forth. That stuff ain't going to come out easy. I went through 2 liters. I'm just very toxic is all I just keep doing. You have to decide to, first of all, stop plugging yourself up. And when you do choose to eat clean and minimal, least obstructive. It's basic, simple. Same thing that Arnold Ehret wrote about. If you read his books, he also has a few recipes, I believe, and different things. And he also called the raw food fanatics that didn't understand about how you can use cooked food for, helping people and so on and so forth. Heating is not as, cooking is not what all evil like we thought it was. You have to just understand what it does and how to use it. And when we cook the juice, it's an amazing tool like no other. So we can only suggest follow the protocol. And if you don't want to follow it, I don't know why you're in mass fast. You can go do your own stuff, because it gets tiring listening to people not following the protocol. I don't want to deal with it anymore, because people start getting in trouble and then they start pointing fingers. I was doing master fast and this is what happened to me. I almost died. Really? Oh, okay, sure. Has nothing to do with master fast. Master fast system is a lifestyle. And we have many things in the protocol for a reason, to fully support the physical, mental, and emotional bodies. The herbs, first and foremost, are for the emotion, and they work down that way, the spirit. They're very important in keeping the stagnant energy within the physicality flowing, because that's where you start having problems, is when there's a stagnant area where an organ is stagnant and doesn't want to move things, and things start burning up. This is a big problem with people with chemo. I'm so glad, Steve, you never had that challenge. Like Marin, he went to go get rushed in for surgery, because what the big culprit of people who've done chemo is it comes back to burn you. Literally, it starts burning organs, tissue. And his first time, he had a lung that started burning. The poor guy, they did so much chemo on him. I don't know how he survived it. We do know, kind of, but he had to get a portion of his lung removed. And even the surgeon admitted this is all from the chemo. Guess what? He did a 13-day dry fast in the hospital. No inflammation, healed very quickly. he was getting threatened to be sued and so on. I listened to his interview. Pretty amazing stuff. But he survived that. Some people don't survive because they don't follow protocol. Basically, they believe they need to eat. They believe they have to eat, and in these states, it's the furthest thing that we need to be doing is eating. Just think of doing the 13-day dry fast in the hospital after a major surgery. Who would even attempt something like that? Who would have the faith and the trust to do something like that? Not many people, I can assure you. You have to have the resistance of all the people in the staff of the hospital going against your wishes, right? They don't want you to do that because then they're going to say, well, if you survive and you actually heal, like he got out of the hospital in 13 days, in the same type of operation, people would be in there for, I think he said 4 to 6 weeks or more, if I'm not mistaken, of being pumped up with all their crap. You know, he refused everything, all the drugs, everything, refused it all. He said when they pulled out the tube out of him, the drainage tube, he said the pain was, he couldn't explain the amount of pain. But and they thought he was crazy. They wanted to put him in a mental institute because he didn't want to get any painkillers. He didn't want to put anything else in his body after the operation. And that's what he did. And the price he paid was healing faster than anybody. Brittany, yes, I want to stay with MFS, and we'll pull through. I've just finally realized how intense it really is when you pull at all those drugs, foods at the backup, and they're that long. Was that long? I'd freak out and then eat, but I stopped a good long while ago because I knew it was just an addiction. Yeah, well,
time will tell.
Yeah. We're all rooting for you to follow the protocol. You know, you can barely do a day, Brittany. I mean, you want to stop eating. We haven't seen that work with people. We haven't seen it work. This is a mastery, takes years, like becoming an athlete. You have to work at it for years, training day in and day out. And this is what this lifestyle does, is puts you in a training state so that you can develop the physical, mental, and emotional states of what it's like to live this type of lifestyle. Yeah, anybody can jump into 108 days. Somebody from a sad diet, yeah, we've had that. But what happens after, right? What happens after? The understanding of breaking a fast prudently and properly is misunderstood and underestimated of the dangers of not doing it prudently and, you know, the way you're supposed to break a fast. Can you survive it? Yeah, some people survive some crazy, you know, breaking fast and properly, like myself. You know, you want to feel like you're going to be dead because it's not fun of the things that happen. So we have an understanding now what to do, how to do it, to assist the body as best possible to eliminate the obstructions that the fast has loosened up. Because the number one thing that we focus on breaking a fast is what? Not nourishment. It's washing out the obstructions the body has loosened up. That's the number one thing we want to do when we're breaking a fast, specifically the longer fast. And one guy, I remember, he was having he did 108 days because he wanted to solve his liver and gallbladder issue. And guess what he broke his fast with? Avocados. Emergency surgery to remove the gallbladder. Fun. Yeah, fun. How can you convince somebody that what they did was not prudent?
No.
So, guys, do whatever you want. But if you ain't following Master Fast, I honestly don't. You're not really welcome here. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to deal with it. It's not fun watching people do things that are completely avoidable. It's completely. But some simple things that were structured in the protocol. It's so simple.
Saps the energy.
Yeah.
Big time.
I don't have all the answers. Never admitted I did. But what we do works. I can assure you, because thousands of people have followed it, and most of the guys have survived. The only ones that don't survive are the ones who don't follow protocol. Eating is lethal. And if you don't believe me, go to morgue and ask the people, family members of the person who's deceased, if the person ate. And I can assure you they ate every day. Eating is a way to, get to the grave faster than anything else. Even the sciences say that eating less will extend your lifespan. Mm-hmm. Even the sciences agree. They've done, research on lab rats and mice and so on and so forth. Reduce the food, life extends. So you have to think, how can that be? Don't we need nutrition? Well, what's nutrition? You have to ask yourself, what's nutrition? Does it have anything to do with eating? And this is what we were discussing earlier. How do we nourish the emotion? My understanding now with plasma science, if you nourish the emotion, you're not going to have to eat physical foods at all, because the soul comes into play and it feeds you through the fields. There's limitless ways that we can nourish ourselves. There's fields all over the place. We've talked and discussed many different things that we could do. And these are just some of the things. There's limitless ways. And each one of us will be able to nourish ourselves different ways. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun fasting, because we see the beautiful transformations, metamorphoses that happen with people that choose this type of lifestyle. It happens every single time. I've not seen somebody going through MFS and not have transformation happen. Not seen it happen. Where are we at? Oh my God, we're already at 3 hours. Time flies when you're having fun, but this is one of the most important aspects of living a lifestyle that nobody else is doing out there. Is support system. Support system. This is what most people don't do, is if you haven't noticed, right? And why so many people have challenges. They're not consistent with, showing up, supporting each other, inspiring each other, day in and day out. Being on the page. You don't have to be on the page every day, but regularly. You need to be regularly. Being on the calls regularly. It's important. A lot of people don't like me, and it's okay. No big deal. I don't know. I still love you. We all connect differently with people, and that's why we're here. It's an open floor. People can talk to each other, whatever. This is the way it's done. It's a beautiful thing. Brittany, yes, I didn't take things seriously. I'm very lucky I'm still here. And I remember that feeling of charging your aura with meditation or sacred song without eating years ago. Once I got very, very empty. I don't understand why I took that away from myself, but I forgave it. Love you guys. Get into clean plasma vacuum tube state, and you will start to understand the truth about yourself. We can't give it to you. You're going to have to find it on your own by doing the work. And it's a beautiful thing. You guys want to do a meditation?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll call it a night after that. So let's get comfortable. I'm a little sore.
Get soft over the winter.
Yeah, no, that's okay. It feels good.
Yes, it does.
Feels good to move. Let's all get comfortable. Close our eyes. Focus on the breath. Keep the breathing through the nose only. In and out as well. Keep the mouth closed. Keep the jaw relaxed. Lips sealed. Feel yourself getting more and more into a relaxed, deep state as we continuously breathe in and out through our nose. With every breath, every cell from our toes, ankles, calves, knees, thighs, buttocks, abdomen, chest, upper back, neck, head. With every breath, everything just gets looser. The arms, hands, eyelids are getting heavier. The breath becomes more shallow. As you take your inhale, drive the breath down deep into the groin area. Imagine the breath as you inhale from the tailbone, driving the breath up the spine, up into the top of the head. And on the exhale, you drive it down the front of the face, down the front of the body, down to the groin area again. So you're making a circle as you breathe in, up the spine, breathe out, down the front, and continue that for a few cycles. Up the spine, down the front, up the spine, down the front. Focus on the area just below the belly button. As you continuously breathe in and out, imagine if you're facing the front of your belly button, like looking at a clock, you're seeing a vortex spinning round just below the belly button, anti-clockwise. Imagine that vortex looking like a tornado, just spinning there, just below the belly button. And continue to breathe in and through the nose and out through the nose. Just shallow breaths, but driving the breath deep. If we look in through the universes, we see spirals all over. The plasma flows in a spiral. 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions, 5 dimensions, 6 dimensions, 7 dimensions, 8 dimensions, 9 dimensions. Continuously see that little tornado spinning below your belly button. If you can, keep your tongue pressed up against the top of your mouth or roll it back and suck on it. And keep it in that position. The more powerful state is if you roll it back and suck on it. That also helps us produce hydration. It's another trick of dry fasting. I've shared that a while ago. To suck on your tongue. Now let's move down the focus to the genitals and continuously focus on that mini tornado in the genital area. And the more we focus, the more speed the tornado picks up. Implosion is creation. Explosion is destruction. So as we continuously focus on that mini tornado in the genital area, we are creating an implosion. An implosion brings balance. We're focusing on the chakra areas to bring balance back to them. Through the forces of implosion, the more we breathe, the more we focus, the more speed the tornado picks up, and the more it brings us towards balance. The more we breathe, the faster the tornado goes. And the more relaxed we become. Now let's move the focus around, down around to the tailbone. tornadoes spinning counterclockwise on the tailbone. Continue sucking on your tongue or have it on the roof of your mouth, whichever you prefer. Focusing on the breath, driving it deep, and the tornado on the tailbone, spinning faster and faster. And the tornado's making a sound. The sound is the number of creation. The number of creation, 432. Beautiful, balancing tone. And the tornado spinning faster and faster as we continue to focus on the tornado spinning on our tailbone. We feel our body getting more relaxed, releasing all obstructions in the emotion, mental, and physical state as the tornado brings balance to these areas. The lower chakras hold a lot of obstructions. It's continuously focusing on the tornado, on the tailbone. If your mind drifts away, it's okay, just bring it back. And continuously focus on the tornado spinning faster and faster. You can feel the spine loosening up and everything else as the obstructions are transmuted into plaf. Everything returns to plaf from where it came from. Now let's take that focus of the tornado and move it up into between the kidneys. The kidneys are just below the bottom ribs, inside that area of the bottom ribs. So focus the tornado tip right between the kidneys on the spine. And feel that tornado spinning faster and faster, anti-clockwise. We can see the big smiles on the kidneys. As the tornado transmutes all the obstructions being held in the kidneys. Continue to suck on your tongue. Continue to focus on the tornado, transmuting all the obstructions that the kidneys are holding. Kidneys are becoming more and more relaxed. And they have two big smiles, the king and queen. These are amazing little organs that are totally misunderstood and underrated. How miraculous creation to design such wonderful, beautiful organs as every single cell in our body. And continuously focusing on the tornado, bringing balance to those wonderful kidneys. There's so much fear on the planet now. Kidneys are the first to hold on to that field of fear. So we continuously focus on the tornado spinning faster and faster, transmuting all the fear into plaf. Continuously breathing in and out through the nose, minimal breaths. The more balanced we become, the less breathing we need. Less is more, even in the breath, as we master the breathing, the breath. The longest living animals breathe the least. As we continuously focus on the tornado spinning, you may see colors. The tornadoes glowing all different colors. And it's going faster and faster. Let's move the focus of the tornado and bring it up the spine into the mid-back area, just behind the heart, center of the lungs. Continuously focus on the tornado spinning counterclockwise. It's going faster and faster and glowing all wonderful, beautiful colors. Continue sucking on your tongue, continuously breathing in and out through your nose, continuously focusing on the tornado in the mid-back. The breath attaches us to physicality. As we continue to breathe, the tornado spinning faster and faster in the middle of our back. We can feel the spine loosening up and correcting its posture, releasing all obstructions. Obstructions are what cause poor postures and everything else. As the obstructions move out and transmute into plaf, everything straightens out. If there's any misalignment in the spine, it will automatically pop into place all on its own. You don't need a chiropractor. Your soul can do the work through the fields. Fields of the tornado. The tornado is a field that you've created and has all the power of all creation, of all the universes. And it's continuously spinning, getting faster and faster, and making the sound with a tone of 432 and glowing all beautiful colors. It's continuously pulling out and transmuting all the obstructions into plaf. And you feel the spine going back to perfect alignment. And let's move the focus of the tornado and bring it up the spine, up to the area where the spine meets the skull. just below the cerebellum area. And we continuously focus on the breath, minimal breathing through the nose and out through the nose. And the spiral, the tornadoes continuously spinning faster and faster and glowing beautiful colors and pulling out all the obstructions of that area of the body where the spine meets the skull. You just feel the drainage that the tornadoes just sucking all the obstructions that have been holding you back and transmuting all those obstructions into plaf. And the tornado spins faster and faster. We've surpassed the speed of light. It's just continuously spinning faster and faster. There are no limits in the limitless realms. Continuously sucking on your tongue. If your mind drifts, just bring it back and focus on the tornado spinning faster and faster, anti-clockwise, where the spine meets the skull. And just feel everything being sucked out that is not in balance, has no purpose. We can let it go. And the tornado is spinning faster and faster and glowing beautiful, brilliant colors. Once the obstructions get transmuted into plaf, the colors become more and more brilliant and the tornado spins faster and faster. And we can feel the body becoming more hydrated. Moisture starts developing in the mouth. The breathing becomes more and more clear. The eyelids are getting heavier and heavier. The body is more and more relaxed. The tornado is spinning faster and faster. The spine is all back in place perfectly. As we continue to focus on the tornado, spinning faster and faster. And now we move the focus of the tornado and we bring it up to the top of the head, 1,000-point junction. It's right in the center of the skull, the top of the head. And the tornado spinning faster and faster and glowing, beautiful, translucent, brilliant colors, pulling out all the obstructions that do not serve us. And the tornado gets faster and faster, many times the speed of light now. And singing a beautiful tone of 432. Counterclockwise, spinning faster and faster on the top of her head, continuously sucking on her tongue and feeling the body getting more and more hydrated. Body's restoring balance. The spine is perfectly aligned. Every cell is perfectly relaxed. The field strength is getting higher and higher. The positioning of all the cells is going back to their blueprint design. And the tornado is going faster and faster. And as it pulls out obstructions, It goes faster and faster, and the colors become more and more brilliant. Let's move the focus of the tornado to the third eye, right in the center of the forehead. And you can see the tornado tip through the third eye. And you can see the brilliant, translucent colors through your third eye. You can see through the center of the tornado. You can see all creation. And the tornado spinning faster and faster. And the lights are getting brighter and brighter. The colors are getting brighter and brighter, more and more brilliant. All blockages of the third eye are being released and being transmuted into plaf as the tornado spins faster and faster, pulling out all obstructions from the third eye. The soul sits behind the third eye in the center of the brain. In the physicality. But it has no physicality. It's an empty space. It has the power of creation within itself to give plaf to all living and non-living beings on this planet, throughout all the stars, galaxies, and planets, and throughout all the universes. And we continuously see the tornado spinning faster and faster, the tip of the third eye. The colors are becoming more and more brilliant. Let's move the focus of the tornado, bring it the tip down to the thyroid, the voice box area. And the tornado spinning faster and faster, clockwise, counterclockwise. We hold a lot of obstructions in the thyroid area, the voice box. Can't voice ourselves properly. The tornado is just sucking out all those obstructions that have been holding us back, saying the things we want to say. The tornado is going faster and faster, and they're getting more and more brilliant in the colors. It's restoring the field strength of the voice box and the thyroid. These chakras are continuously spinning faster and faster and more brilliant. And the tornadoes pulling out all the obstructions, all the things that we were holding on to in the voice box area. Transmuting them to plaf. You feel it being released. No more tension. And continuously focusing on the breath and sucking on our tongue, and feel the body get more and more hydrated. The thyroid and parathyroids, miraculous design from creation. Creates, the parathyroid can create any element the body needs through the plaf. Doesn't need any physicality. And let's move the focus of the tornado, the tip of the tornado down into the heart. The first brain. The field of the heart is way stronger than anything else in the physicality. As we continuously focusing on tornado, spinning faster and faster on the heart chakra, the colors become more and more intense, more and more brilliant, and the speed goes faster and faster. As we release everything that doesn't serve us, and we are guided by our heart and find the things that we love to do that make our heart sing. And continuously focusing on tornado, spinning faster and faster, and singing in 4-3-2. Colors getting brighter and brighter as it continuously pulls out all the obstructions of the heart area, turning them into plaf. And we're being completely overwhelmed with plaf, that we have so much that we have to give it out and send it out to all the beings on the planet, living and non-living, and elevate their souls so they may find balance and live in peace, balance, correct conduct. And the tornado is getting faster and faster. And the body's getting more and more hydrated. The mouth is getting more and more moisture. Every cell is becoming hydrated and building its field strength. So the balance will continue long after we finish this meditation. Continuously build our field strength. The less we eat, the more the field strength rises. Continuously focusing on tornado, spinning faster and faster in the heart chakra. Let's bring the focus of the tornado down into the solar plexus. Continuously focusing on the tornado, spinning faster and faster. As it pulls out more and more obstructions out of the solar plexus. Colors get more and more brilliant. And the speed goes faster and faster. We're at several hundred times the speed of light as it continuously pulls out all the obstructions from the nervous system. We have a huge, magnificent nerve cluster in the solar plexus area. Controls the whole nervous system. And our mini tornado is pulling out all the obstructions that are keeping the nervous system from working optimally. And continuously focusing on the tornado, spinning faster and faster, we can feel the nervous system becoming more and more relaxed. The nervous system in the physical is a nano-coated sheath. It's a superconductor and a super insulator where information travels at many times the speed of light through the nervous system. Every single cell in our body is an amazing, amazing design. And continuously focus on tornado, spinning faster and faster. Solar plexus becoming more and more balanced. All our chakras are in a perfect state of balance and will continuously move in more state of balance and build our field strength long after we're finished this meditation. And continuously focusing on tornado spinning faster and faster. Continuously breathing, continuously sucking on the tongue, continuously building hydration, continuously building field strength. So now imagine the tornado moving away from the solar plexus and just spinning right in front of your eyes, faster and faster. And let's dissipate the tornado, which is overburdened with glass, out to every beautiful living and non-living soul on this planet, so they may find peace, balance, and correct conduct. Send it off and watch it dissipate in beautiful, brilliant colors around the globe, around the earth, our beautiful Mother Earth. Continuously focus on the breath as we started. When you breathe up, in, take it up the spine from the tailbone up to the top of the head. When you breathe out, take it down the front of the body, back down to the groin, and continue that circle of breath. In, go up the spine, out, go down the front of the body. In, go up the spine, out, go down the front of the body. And do this over and over as we start to come back into our body. We feel more refreshed and relaxed than we ever did before. We feel our field strength getting stronger and stronger. Our eyesight is becoming more and more sharp, physical and the third eye, more focused. Our physical body is getting stronger with every breath we take. Our mind is getting clearer and sharper. Our organs and glands are working optimally, dumping all obstructions. The bowels are working perfectly. The kidneys and liver, gallbladder, spleen, pancreas, everything's going back into balance. The stomach is much happier with nothing inside. All our joints are releasing all the obstructions as the chakras are in perfect balance right now and the spine is perfectly aligned. As we come back, take a deep breath and then open your eyes. Wow, it's only 3 of us left. How was that?
Beautiful.
That's the micro orbit with a little twist.
There you go.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you on the page.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.